Hey everyone, how's it going? This is Jason from Dawn of the Devs with another daily code challenge for you. Here is the challenge for today. It says take the following string. We got a quote from Shakespeare, and it says reverse the order of the words in the string and output the reversed string to the console. And on lines 12, 13, 14, and 15, I've taken that phrase and I've put it into a variable, and just to save us time. And on line 16, I've got a console log that's going to log out that phrase in the reverse order. So I've got to create the function to actually do this logic. And let's do that. Create a function, call reverse phrase. And it's going to take a phrase. All right. And I am doing this in JavaScript. As always, you could probably do this in any language. I'm just picking JavaScript because it's the easiest one for me to demo. Let's set up the return variable. Say let result equals something, return result, just to get this out of the way. Now, what is that something going to be? So I want to take the phrase, and later on, whenever I do the reversing of strings, it would be nice if I was dealing with an array. And JavaScript has a nice function built in for arrays to split a string on white space and turn that into an array. And just to show you how that works, let me do phrase dot split some white space. All right. Now result is an array of those words. And actually, right now, I could actually run that just to show you guys. So we're seeing here, we've got the whole thing split up, but this is just an array, right? And there's all the words that have been split. But in this case, it does work because there's nothing weird as far as this this phrase. But what if instead of having one white space here on line 19, what if it was two consecutive or three? Let's run that again just to see what happens. Notice that we've got some positions in the array that aren't a word, and that's not very helpful for us. So let's tweak this a little bit, see if we can. And also another thing too is, what if this thing begins with some white space or ends with white space? I'd like to have this logic on line 13 be a little bit more robust to handle that. So basically all I want in my array is words and only words. So let's do phrase dot replace. And what I want to replace is any consecutive white space and just have it be just a single white space. We'll use a regular expression for that. And what this regular expression is doing is looking for any continuous white space, whether it's one or multiple in a row, and replacing it with just a single white space. And then additionally, let's do a trim to trim out the space at the beginning and the end. All right, let's run that one more time. And notice now that we don't have the weird white space stuff showing in our array, and we don't have any weird white space at the beginning because we trimmed it out. So I'm liking that a little bit better. I'm pretty sure the language that you choose will have a trim function for strings and a replace, and maybe even a split too. But we don't want this function to return an array. So what we want to do with our array is to join it on that white space. I'll run it one more time, and there it is. So we've basically done nothing to the string. It's still intact, reading the way it read when we got it. But it has, notice that there's not the weird spacing stuff, and there's no space at the beginning either. So it's looking like we've sanitized that a little bit better. Now we need to get into the part where we actually reverse this thing. And one way I could do it is I could create another array and just start reading from the end of the result array, and starting from length -1, read that word, put it in position 0 of this new array, look at result.length -2, put that in position 1 of the new array, and so on. But I don't want to create another array that's not the most optimized way of doing it as far as memory is concerned. Is it really necessary to be super concerned about it? Well, maybe not, but it doesn't hurt to do best practices if you can. If you ever played sports, you probably heard your coach practice like you're going to play. And even if you're doing some code that you're messing around with, write it like you would for production. So let's do this. We're gonna do an in-place string or in-place array modification, and I want to start at the beginning. Actually, I'm going to start from both ends of it. So I'm going to say let start equal 0, let end equal result dot length -1, and I'm going to have a while loop here. I'm going to say while start is less than or equal to end, and what's going to happen is I'm going to begin at the beginning of the array and at the end of the array, and inside this loop, I'm going to consecutively move the marker from the ends toward each other, towards the middle, and I'll show you what I mean here. Say let temp, because I need to have a temp variable to hold the thing I'm going to replace. Result start and result start, which begins as 0, right, will end up being result end, which is length -1. And then result end will equal temp, which was whatever was at the start. And then we're going to do start ++ to move that forward or advance it forward, and end --- to decrement it so it moves backwards. All right. So let's give that a run and see if that works for us. All right. So just kind of reading it backwards says to be or not to be. That is the question. All right. So it looks like it's doing the job. What I may have been able to do to be a little bit, to sanitize it a little more, I probably could have got rid of these symbols such as the colon here, the period. I think we have a apostrophe over here, question mark. Maybe I could have. I'll leave it to you guys if you really want to go that far with it. But this is one way we could solve the problem. It's not the only way, and maybe it's not even the best way. If you have a better way to do it, feel free to comment, provide your code, share it with everyone. It'd be kind of cool to see what your solution is. Even if it's another language, that's cool too. Thanks for listening and watching, and I hope to see you guys next time. Take care.